Hi and welcome everyone. I am going live a little bit early because I'm having some problems with OBS and um apparently I can't get my bit rate to get fixed. I mean, it's not a problem with the internet. It's not a problem with my computer. It's the problem with OBS. So I'm not going to be able to, I won't be able to show my face, but I don't think that really matters to you guys anyways. And so here, where's my chat? Okay, there's my chat. Okay, so I've got chat open so I can see you guys. Make sure that you guys um, make sure that if you guys have any questions, go ahead. Hey Kevin, how are you? I'm so glad you can do it, but like again, there's about a 30-second delay, so between when I see you and when I don't. So Kevin, if you have any questions, oh, and Kwanzi, hi, how are you? Um, Sorry, I'm still kind of struggling. I'm a little bit frustrated with the software, but let's get into it. And a little bit of what I'm going to be talking about is what I'm doing on Germany here, because this is probably the better out of all the servers that I'm having. And I have been talking a lot about doctrine lately. And if you guys are on my Discord server, and you can find it. It is Gaming with Jason, hashtag 1983 is how you can find me on Discord. Or if you go down in the description, there should also be a link to the Discord server. Now there are some rules that I do place on the Discord server. If you're going to be there and you're playing on the same server as us and you're on the opposite side, don't take the information we give you and uh, don't use it against us, because that's kind of, I will lock down the server if I notice that people are doing that, because it's not right. We're there to learn. There are a lot of people there that are skilled, some more skilled than me, some less skilled than me, some about the same as me. Which content is which continent is the best to start for you? Kevin, uh, there is no necessary best continent. What it really boils down to is your overall uh, your overall strategy. Let me give you an example. So I have a guy on my Discord server. He goes by the name Unknown. You'll see him in the game. If you see him, just understand that is a high quality top 10% player. He's that good. And he can start with any doctrine, anywhere, and he can win. But he is in that top 10% echelon of players, so it doesn't matter. What you really should focus on, if you're really trying to figure out where to start, where not to start, Asia is going to be the least amount of fighting in the beginning, but you're going to have huge naval battles. Europe, you're going to have a lot of fighting in the beginning. You're going to want to go with land units first, and then second, you want to go to your your navy, and you also want to make sure that you have air as well. Whereas if you start over here in the Americas, what you need to do, your first thing to do, is to clean up all of the Americas, which right now I'm fighting a second. We're having a coalition war right now, so we fight all of the Americas. And you got to make sure that you own all of the Americas, and then you either one side, usually South America, is going to go after Africa. North America will generally go towards Asia, and this is the way to go. And so, I mean, that's one way to do it. But there is no best continent, best place. A lot of it has to do with the players that are on the server. Do you have a lot of active players? Here on this server that I'm playing, there are a lot of active players. So that means that there's a lot of fighting. Now, if there wasn't a lot of active players, the fighting would be easy. I'd probably be sitting at about, let's see, right now I have, last I checked was over 1,000 points. So I just finally hit the 1,000 points. And I should be at about 1,500 if there 1,500 points if there wasn't a lot of fighting going on. But because I have been fighting since day one, this has made it much harder for me. And so, Kevin, I hope that answers your question. And again, Quasi, hi, how are you? I'm surprised I haven't seen Beyond Dreams in here. He seems to be a guy that really follows some of these things. Um, Sorry guys, again, I'm a little bit off my game just because of the problems I was having getting started here. I hope that there's no lag. I can't really tell from my end because I can't really see much. Let's see here. Oh yeah, it says that I'm uploading, so there shouldn't be any lag. If there's any lag, will you guys please tell me so that I can follow along and maybe try and troubleshoot it while we're going on. Um, but I hope that again, I hope that answers your question. And so back on what I was talking about, if you are looking for guys that want to, all right, glad I could help you, Kevin. There, if you're looking for guys that you can talk to and that you can learn from and share strategies and share your successes and ask questions about your failures, this is a place to go. No, we're not going to tell you, oh, well, you need to move your units here and stuff like that. That should be what's happening in game. But if you have things like, okay, I'm having a problem with Navy, how do I defend against Navy? Well, it just depends. One is your doctrine, two is your playstyle, and three is your personal philosophy. Okay, Kwanzi, thank you. I'm glad that there's no lag. It boils down to personal philosophy. My personal philosophy is I like to build a well-rounded. I like to build a well-rounded uh, country. So as you see here, let me kind of show you some of my text. Now, as you see, I don't really have a lot going on for infantry, but that's because in the European doctrine, the infantry really isn't that great. Now, I will tell you that later in the game, as you get up here, you're going to see the mech. You're going to see them at 8 and 9 for armor, versus if you get up here with infantry at the same level, you are going to be getting a 6 and a 4.5. And I had an argument on my Discord server. Oh, how do you deal with a golder? Oh, um, there's a few ways that you could deal with that, Kevin. But let me finish on this real quick, and then I will definitely get in and answer your question. Uh, but if you look there, your mech in the European doctrine, it's cheaper than a tank and more lethal than infantry. And you want to be able to have lethal. You want to be able to walk through. And if you're poor on resources, you really have to. You really have to figure out how to manage it best. And I found that following the doctrines, if you follow the doctrines, it will play out much different for you in the game, especially if you're Kevin talking about golders again. Some people, let me tell you a story about gold. When I first started playing, I think I was probably like 30 games in. I lost a lot. I started and I jumped around servers. My first like 30 or 40 games really didn't. Uh, they really didn't. I didn't do well, and I really didn't stick with them. And so I finally got to a point, and I said, you know what, I am definitely gonna win this next one. And I started having a good game until I came across Russia, and Russia was so powerful, and I was still new to the game, still trying to figure out what units did what, how to use them, how best to use them. And I think I spent about $200 on that server. I started off, I threw $100 in it, and then he just ground me down so much that by the end of it, in order to get that win, I spent so much money. And he followed through on his promise, which is he says, if you want to pay for the win, I'm going to make it expensive for you. I swear I have not bought gold since then, because that was a huge eye opener. Because just because somebody has gold doesn't necessarily give them an advantage over you, except for one basic exception. And that exception with golders is that they can spam you with troops. They can build a crap ton, but you know how much if they're low on their manpower, they have to use gold to buy that, and then it starts becoming expensive and expensive just to be able to do it. And so all you can really do is look at their strategy. Are they spamming you with a bunch of infantry just walking through, kind of like what we see going on down here? As you see, what they're doing is they're just spam, 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 and uh, there's nothing much that we can do except for take our strikers and just slowly kill them out. Now, last night I fought a golder, and when I started out, he tried to spam me. I already had my front lines. I had my battle strategy already in place. And when he started sending it, it was like I was getting a 5-to-1 ratio. For every 5 of his I killed, I might have lost 1. And the ones that I was losing was because he had a navy and caught one of my troops in transit. Now, I also did take out a fleet of frigates, and I took out most of a fleet of destroyers. The guy was spending enough money to be able to have. I mean, I started off with 65 units, and he had somewhere around. I took out at least 100 units total over like a 24 to 36 hour period of time. Did he win? Pretty much. I mean, because at a certain point in time, you just want to make it so expensive that they have to spend a lot of money to do it. There's very few ways to beat Golders. One thing I would recommend, and in the Western Doctrine, you can really use it. See, in the Western Doctrine, you get AWACS, and you get early access to AWACS, and your AWACS. Oh, I thought I was. Oh, okay, that's the next thing I'm building. But your AWACS is about the same as your mobile radar. The difference between the mobile radar and the AWACS is that you can fly your AWACS anywhere in the world and it could be there within a matter of hours versus days if you have to get to an airport and then fly here and then disembark and then march to where you got to go. An AOX is much better. It allows you to do pinpoint striking. Now, you do want to keep it at the edge of their borders. So, for example, if I was coming over here and I wanted to see what was going on in this area right here, what I would be doing is I would probably place my AWACS right off the coast, enough to where the blue patrol zone that you see. So let me go in and find. Let me go find some of my strikers. Where did they go? Okay. Okay. Well, let's just use this as an example. Because wherever that blue circle is where they can be visible. So I would want to put it somewhere like right here. And if I put it right here, I can see all the way out to here. And then as I slowly take territory, and this is how you keep your AWACS from being seen, because you got to keep it off the coast, because as it patrols, it goes around in that blue circle. So anything within that blue circle and just a little bit outside of it, you're going to be able to see. And so you just slowly move it in and just keep doing precision strikes. That is one of the benefits of working with the Western Doctrine, and it's also the benefit of just dealing with somebody who is sending a lot of troops. You're in the dark and you want to be able to see your AWACS. I would say it more important than maybe the country you start is the units that you choose. Again, because I'm using the European Doctrine, I'm using the mech. If I was using the American Doctrine, I would be stuck with infantry, but I would be going with the armored fighting vehicles. I would be going with strikers. I would be going with superiority, and I would also be going with AWACS and naval patrol. And I might even throw some bombers in there, but that's more for the Eastern Doctrine. You get more bonuses and more hit with those bombers. And the people that are really good against fighting people with gold have mastered the Eastern Doctrine, because the Eastern Doctrine is a doctrine that is based solely on defense, and so you have to really know how to defend. So you're going to get bonuses on your motorized infantry. You're going to get bonuses on your airborne infantry. You're gonna get certain bonuses on your mobile SAMs. You're gonna get bonuses on your rocket propelled artillery, and that rocket propelled artillery. If you look at what's going on in Russia right now, Russia is just taking maybe 1.5 kilometers a day. This was probably a few weeks ago. Hey Jason, I won't be able to watch live, but I wanted to let you know that your dedication and passion is very appreciated. Good luck. Well, thanks, Kamatato. Um, but anyway, sorry, I forget where I was real quick. Anyways, you know, in the Eastern Doctrine, you will have your mobile radar, your rocket propelled artillery, and your strikers are gonna be what really sets you apart. But the thing is, again, like what's happening in Russia, you have to. They're moving at 1.5 kilometers a day because they set their rocket artillery and their radar, and so they can see everything that's going on in this little section right here, and that way, if there's anything coming, they've got strikers to be able to support their land units. And you can use this in the American and the and the European doctrine. There's no rule against it. However, in the Eastern Doctrine, this is where the emphasis of your bonuses and your strategy comes, because you are now using your defense capabilities as an offense, and that is the Achilles heel of both the European and the American or Western doctrine. Is that the Western doctrine is all about shock and awe. I'm going to hit you with air power. My troops are just going to come in and occupy territory. With the European doctrine, it's we're poor and we need to be able to compete with tanks with our infantry. So you get that. And then with uh, with the Eastern doctrine, you are going to be getting you're getting defense troops again. Your radar, your rocket propelled artillery, your strikers, your ships. Now, one thing that I have been looking for to see if there's a difference in any of the Navy, and it doesn't seem like there is any difference in the Navy whatsoever. They are the same across the board. So this is your even unit, and when you go into Navy, and if you want to win a Navy battle, one of the big things that you really got to look into is you got to look at the you've got to really be ahead of them in tech. So as you see, as soon as this goes up, as you see, I'm working on missiles because these guys over here in South America, they're really irritating me. Um, but again, I digress. So, does anybody else have any more questions for me about the game that might be able to help them? And if there's any information that I started to cover and you think that I need to continue covering it, please let me know. I really appreciate the feedback. Thank you guys so much for participating in today's episode. And I really like the fact that you guys are here helping out. Well, not necessarily helping out. But anyways, sorry, like I said, it's been a long day. And let's see, I still haven't killed. The weird thing is I don't understand why certain players use National Guard. Now, National Guard are cheap and you can spam people. And that's really great and all. But your National Guard, unless you put them at somewhere around your National Guard. Your National Guard are going to start out. Now, they don't require a barracks or anything, an army base or anything. All it requires is a recruiting office, which you can get those in 10 minutes, which still takes longer than the army base. But you get a 1.5 attack, and you're not getting much. What do you think about the new elite plane? Oh, I have been being asked about that. Hey, let me get into that. Let me stop with what I'm doing here, and let's get into the elite bomber, because that is something that has a lot of people have been asking me about. And there's a guy on my Discord server, he knows more of the history behind it. This bomber right here, let me go, where's the elite bomber? Okay, so we've got the elite bomber here, the Vulcan, the Avro Vulcan. And this supposedly, when they were doing war games between, I think it was Great Britain and the United States on a nuclear war, this was the only this was the only plane that was able to make it through, do the damage, and because of this plane single-handedly won the war. Now, you've got a bomber, and I've sat back and I've looked at it, and you're not getting much of an advantage other than prestige of saying, look, I have an elite bomber, because your speed is 11. Okay, so some things that you're going to look at. If I'm going to use a bomber, I'm looking at key indicators. I am looking at what is the damage it's going to do to the infantry. Okay, it does 13. Okay, and now this is level 3, so this is completely maxed out, and I've already had people use this bomber against me. It's about as lethal as the railgun when it comes to lethality. Okay, and it does 7 against armor, so it's not super great. My mech is better against armor, but hey, if you're going after infantry, great, fantastic, wonderful. Now, you do get a 5,000 range. That there's no difference in that between that and the regular bomber. And you get a 7 on the ships. And I think the 7 on the ships is really what makes the difference. But if you look here, this is almost because with the actual bomber, you get a bunker buster. Is that me? And we got to go look at the actual bunker buster stats because I forget them. But you're doing 10 damage to buildings and you're doing 5 damage to population. So if you really need to level a city, if you're having somebody, honestly, if you're planning on doing nukes, this would probably be the one that I would use. Just because, I mean, that's the historical reference to it, and the game really tries to go with the historical reference. So let's go over here and let's look at the heavy bomber. So let's look here. Okay, what nation do you usually choose? I will answer that question in a minute, but let me finish answering this bomber question. So now a maxed out bomber before you get to bunker buster. So you get 12, and then you get what is that here? Is that 6? So you get a 12 and a 6. So you get an extra point. You do more damage to buildings, same damage to everything else, and you get an extra damage there, 5,000 range. So you, is the elite bomber? You're getting 1 extra speed, you're getting 1 extra hit point across the board. But again, I would probably more or less want to use this for my nuclear attack. But the thing is the one thing that I'm surprised it doesn't have is stealth technology. I'm surprised that it doesn't have that. You get a 25 sight range. Okay. Let's go back here and look at it one more time, just because I want to make sure that we fully cover this, because there's a lot of people asking about this bomber. You still get the same sight range. You get 35 points versus how many points do we get over here? We get 29 points. So okay, so it's going to be able to take a lot more hits. It's 50-50. It's really if you get it, you're gonna if you get it, you're buying it for prestige. Yes, it's faster. Yes, you can do a little bit more damage. But you can, and yes, it costs less to upgrade. I will say that. But even with the bunker buster, you're still not getting. So I mean, the bomber, if you are a long range bomber and that is part of your normal strategy, I would say this thing is probably got you all wet inside, all ooey and gooey. And so, that I will say that I think that's all I can really say about the Elite Bomber. I'm not gonna use it. I probably wouldn't use it. I probably would use the Elite Bomber if long range bombing was part of my strategy. Now, the next question was, I think it was designed to deliver nuclear bombs to the Soviet Union. Yes, actually it was, Commodado. And okay, so I was also asked, what nation do you usually choose and why? You know, my top nations, and I actually did a video on this, a top 5 Western doctrine. But the top nations that I really like to choose, my favorite, and this is like a hidden gem, is the Philippines. The Philippines is off to the side. Vietnam is going to be working on inland. China is probably, at most, he's going to go after Taiwan. And then he's probably gonna go after Mongolia, Kazakhstan, and then probably start to surround or engulf engulf India. But I prefer, like my favorite to play, I would say would be Philippines. But my equal second favorite to play, like if I feel like playing Navy, I play the Philippines. If I feel like just having a massive force that I just want to like go thump everybody and just like have an easy game, if I'm not the Philippines, I'm usually Saudi Arabia. And Saudi Arabia, a lot of the reason why I like the American doctrine is because with the Western or American doctrine, the good, the powerful countries all have two components in it. Unlike it over here in Germany, Germany is the only one in the region with two components. And maybe I'm looking at it regionally, and I'm having a disconnect. Okay, but uh, for me, I just this is just the way I think. It's just that part of the reason why I like the American doctrine or the Western doctrine is because you, in a lot of it, you get two components, which means you can build more air, you can build more navy, you can build a heck of a lot more stuff, and you can get going. But you're not gonna, the counterbalance to that again is the European doctrine. Now, if I'm playing the European doctrine, I would say my favorite and the only country that I really like is playing with Germany, but because Germany has the same benefits of the Western doctrine, but it does not have the but it has the European doctrine. So that means I can be component rich. As you see, look at here. We're in day 34, and I'm already producing over 300 components. Okay, that's a big deal. Especially for European, because I am playing as Spain in Rising Tides, which doesn't have the electronics focus like it does in World War III. And I'm telling you, I'm struggling. If it wasn't for the mech, I probably wouldn't be able to compete. Okay, so let's see. I don't like heavy bombers that much because they hit the population hard. Kevin, I agree with you. I am all about, and especially if you play the Western Doctrine, if you play the Western Doctrine, your primary philosophy is preservation of property, because that preservation of property plays into your overall resource production. So, for example, let's go look over here. Let's go look at Germany. Okay, so let's go look at a city that I haven't annexed. Let's look at here. Okay, so I am sitting at about a 60%, and I took this probably about 20 game days ago, maybe less, maybe 15 game days ago, and as you see, I'm getting 271. So let's go look at something that I've recently taken. Okay, let's go see if I can find. Is that a component city? No. Is this a component city up here? No. Is this component? No, that's electronics. Okay. I've been pretty much trying to help out Morocco because he's getting his butt kicked, and so I haven't got to expand, but I've been helping him. But if you look there, that 271 is 120, and the lower the population is, the harder it is. I have played against somebody who likes to put level 5 arms industry in all the important resources. So the guy that I faced last night, he put level 5 arms industries in all of his electronic cities because he wanted electronics so that he could build ships and build air and keep his superiority. Okay, so and it's bad for my morale. Yes, that's another thing that you guys should probably consider as well, is your morale. And again, it goes into population. If you are bombing someone, for example, there are lots of players. I don't think I see anything on this server yet. Oh man, he beat me. Huh, I didn't make it. Oh well. Uh, okay, so yeah, he's going up here. But when you see what I'm doing here, as I'm killing that population, I mean, look, I've got 104, and as the population goes down, I'll probably, by the time I capture the city, it'll be down to 50. Plus, it's going to take forever. Plus, any resource buildings that were in there. Let's say there was an airport, which I originally built an airport. We've been fighting over this island because these guys have been trying to come in through here. But you know, anytime you fight over resources like this, you've got to really be conscious. The difference between somebody who's resource poor and somebody who's not resource poor is preservation of buildings, which is again a philosophy I took in the Western doctrine. Now, if I really don't play the Eastern Doctrine, I will have to learn the Eastern Doctrine. Now that I've learned a lot more about the different doctrines, I will probably play them more. So I'm going to give it about we've got a 3-minute warning. So in the next 3 minutes, I am going to go ahead and I'm going to end this in this live stream. I want to make sure that I have answered everybody's questions. And hey, for everybody that was here, thank you. I really, really appreciate that you guys showed up, that you participated, and that you asked the questions. And what I may end up doing and what ends up happening, just so that you guys know, is from my live streams, I clip those out into smaller videos. The two things that you're going to get from this channel are going to be playthroughs and tutorials. And it's not going to be just on this game. This is the primary game that I play. But you can only play it for so long in a day. It only takes like 15, 20 minutes, 3 times a day. To really come in here. And if you're wanting to have a full-on game day, there are games that you want to play in the in-between. Now, unless you have a weekend like what I had, which I was tied to my computer for 2 days straight, I didn't actually leave my browser except for to go outside and take a breath of fresh air. And yeah, that was a serious pain. But it's very rare that you ever get tied to your browser in that manner. And I will tell you, it will quickly burn you out, exhaust you, and take you to your wits' end. But, you know, you also get a lot of fulfillment because, man, a heavy battle is really, really, really good. Okay, so does one last call. Does anyone have any more questions for me, game related? Also, hey, don't forget to hit that like button. It helps me out in the algorithm. The things you guys are saying in the chat helps out with the algorithm. Also, if you really want to support this channel even more than what you already do with your viewership and with your likes and everything else like that, there are affiliate links. If you want to know my setup, what I use for my gaming PC, I use an HP Omen. I have a 12 gig of memory and a 6 gig video card. But, you know, this is also 2 years old, too. I bought this at the beginning of the pandemic. And with the chip shortage, if you're going to replace a computer, you might as well do it now because it's only going to go up. Because as all the different militaries of the world need the electronic parts for their own military hardware, they jump to the front of the line. And, you know, personal computers are no longer being made. It'll be a lot like what we went through in World War II, where everybody just kind of had to do their effort for, or do their part in the war effort. And so there's a link there through Amazon to get the same laptop I have. I like it. I think it's one of the better laptops I've had. The only thing better than this would be like an Alienware, but I'm not going to spend $5,000 on an Alienware when I can get something comparable for about $1,300 to $1,500. Also, I have the camera that I use, which is a Sony Alpha. But anyways, since I haven't seen any requests, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna cut this short. But there are affiliate links down in the bottom. If you feel like helping the channel out more than just giving me a like, a comment, a share, then this is the that would be another way that you can help the channel. You can come if you want to continue learning more. There is my Discord channel, which is in the description. It should be right below my affiliate links, as well as my website. I'm working on updating it to catch it up with my videos, but I'll also be writing blogs on different things because some people like to read, some people like to watch, and some people like to listen. And so I want to make sure that I cover all the bases. That way you guys are getting the best material possible. Yeah, so check out my website, check out my Discord server. The Discord server, again, I expect you to be there to learn. You're not there to promote your channel, to sit there and glorify yourself and tell everybody how awesome you are. Everybody there are good players. So all you're doing is just making yourself look like a fool. Show up, learn, ask questions, interact with the community, and you will learn a lot. Your game will improve dramatically just by coming to the Discord server and having an interaction with the few of us that are there. There's about 5 or 6 of us there now. So anyway, since I haven't heard anything as far as that goes, I am going to go through the process and I am going to end the stream. Since there is a 30-second delay, I am going to wait for the 30 seconds before I actually click the end button. Thank you for watching, and I will see you guys every Monday at this time, and we will do a live Q&A for any questions you have. It'll last anywhere between 20 to 30 minutes. Thank you for watching.